Welcome to cryptocurrency. This part, hang loose, don't forget. This part, we're going to talk about the regulations of non-bank companies, like, any cryptocurrency that's like a bank.
Yeah, Fintech.
So Fintech, cryptocurrency stuff were a non-bank company. And they got to comply to regulations that are going to be nationwide in all the states and things like that. What do you got? You got
20 minutes is pretty good.
Where'd you get the handout?
Oh, this one? I got it at one of the tech incubator centers in Honolulu, Hawaii. So, downtown Honolulu, it was at the work hub, one of the work hubs where the entrepreneurs were. Oh, gosh, I can't even remember. I had it for a while. I got it from one of the crypto people, actually.
It says Hawaii.gov, so it's like from the...
So what I have here is 6 steps to modernize non-bank regulations, okay? And this is a division of financial institutions in Hawaii, okay? So you can find this on cca.hawaii.gov DFI, cca.hawaii.gov DFI, okay? There's a dog barking in the background.
That's okay. Dogs bark. That's what they do.
Okay.
Kill it. It's Halloween. We need to eat dog. We cook dog and eat dog. No, we don't. It's Hawaii. There's all this stuff. I don't know. Something's wrong with this. Go ahead.
Okay, step 1. Engage Fintech Advisory Panel. Okay, so companies like ODUWA Coin, who is a leader in the Fintech, one of the leaders we're in Hawaii, one of the big... There's a lot of enthusiasm about ODUWA Coin in Hawaii with a lot of family and friends. Okay, so what we would do is we would be one of the companies that is working with the payments and lending subgroups. And then we would report to the advisory panel who will advise regulators on policies, right? On policies on the fintech companies. So they would...
So ODUWA Coin is one of the people they confer with for regulation?
They can, yeah. ODUWA Coin can be one of the, because we qualify the fintech adoption here, that's non-bank. We are that company, so we can technically go on to a subgroup where we can give feedback to these advisor panel groups.
Right, because they're still building the regulations.
Yeah. We're still only in step 2 out of 6, so we're still early on.
In this pamphlet.
Step 2.5. And this is about 6 months old, by the way. Step 2 would be to redesign the nationwide multi-state licensing system. And that would mean that the licensing system that we have now is outdated, right? So, because back then there was no such a thing as fintech.
Right, they don't have it. So it's not in the regs.
Hence why advisor panel giving feedback to the regulators so they could create proper and...
What's a quick question, and like what would a regulatory board want to ask a fintech company, a non-bank fintech? How can we tax you?
No, regulatory bank doesn't care about that. Well, the question is, what type of regulation are we talking about? There's different licensings, which I'm still learning myself. There's different types of regulatory bodies that we're talking about.
Right. Well, one regulation I would surmise would be about consumer protection.
Excellent. Okay. If I was a regulatory body, what kind of questions I would... Well, if I was talking to a regulatory body, I would tell them this as a fintech company. I would tell them that our we're not assets yet, but we will be. Our tokens, our utility tokens, are secure. They're
It's not classified as an asset?
Tokens, no. Utility, no. Utility is just a medium of exchange.
Okay, so Oduwa's that utility token.
We're a utility coin.
Utility coin.
But, and the other element I would tell the regulatory bodies is that if we have an investor, which we don't, I mean, this is all speculation at this point. All of if we have any investors that are over $200,000, they have to be. We have to make sure they are licensed institutional investors, which are $200,000 or up, so they know the risk that they're taking in our startup.
Okay, yeah, because
They have to be licensed.
I asked my mom, who's in real estate.
And how old is your mom? Just tell the audience how old is your mom.
She's 89. Wow. As in earlier this month. She was born on
So she's
October 13th on a Friday. She was born on Friday the 13th
nice. What
in
year?
Halloween month.
Yeah, so 1931.
Yeah.
So comes from the Poles. She comes from the before baby boomer generation, where
Well, you're talking when she was a kid. It was right
the Great
after
Depression. She lived through the
Depression.
Great Depression. Wow.
So they got memories of that stuff.
So that's where the TV was just getting introduced.
What?
The TV was just getting introduced in the 20s. So the TV was like just a few years old at that time.
Yeah, but you don't get TVs in the house until like
60s,
50s, 60s.
So just to give audiences perspective, your
Don't
mom,
have a TV.
yeah,
You had a
Your-
candle,
candle.
and you threw little crumbs of cheese at the rats, so they would
And there's
not crawl in your bed.
and then you get a cup and a line, and that's how you talk to your neighbors.
Well, my dad also grew up in Chicago, about same time, and he said that it was cold at night, and they would put red brick on the stove, like the standpipe stove, the kind of little fire in it. Put a red brick on the stove, and at night you wrap that in a towel and you put it in your bed with you to keep you warm.
Wow, that's wow. Okay, wow, that's quite the life. Okay, back on track.
Back on track.
Well, your mom had a question.
She taught herself.
Who is 89?
She taught herself real estate, and she was really good at it. And excuse me. And I asked her about cryptocurrency and these kind of things, and her first reaction was, "What's it backed by?" So you're talking about the assets. It's not an asset; it's a utility coin.
Technology. Mm-hmm.
And so
Hence fintech.
Financial technology. So it's like virtual money. What's it backed by? She's like thinking, is it backed by gold? The dollar's backed by gold.
With her. But we have to be very, very clear. We can't just talk about mix different parts of the businesses together in regulations.
No,
everything has a process in place. So for your mom, who is,
but
she's thinking about investment, right?
When people come into it, fintech is new. So there's stuff that's new that they don't know.
Right.
And so when they come into it, they come in with the mind frame of, oh, the dollar's backed by the gold. And it's not. It's backed by the petrol, right?
Right.
And even now, it's like questionable. It's backed by whatever the Fed says or prints or whatever. But
yeah,
the dollar is, by law, because it says legal tender, it's by law, it's a currency.
Mm-hmm.
Now, cryptocurrency...
Is it currency or money?
Huh?
Is it currency or money?
What? Oh.
Dollar.
Well, it's both.
It is used interchangeably, right? Currency is backed by the government. Money is like gold. Rare, it has intrinsic value. It has utility use, like gold can be used for computer chips, right? Utility use, right? But currency is utility use, exchange of value. ODUWA Coin, right, is both, but right now it's utility until we build the frameworks around the technology, cryptocurrency. But right now it's utility.
It can be used as money.
Yes.
Utility.
Yeah, and it could be used as currency. Now, somebody like your mom and for you, like get your head around, and for me, I often think about that, and I realize, well, we put our faith into, we put value onto whatever we give our attention to. That's the simplest answer.
Okay, but outside of philosophy, when you get a license,
Very good. License.
a government agency like a state government is saying they can be trusted.
Mm-hmm.
You can put your money in and we back you via law that, you know, like
So
if they do something
non-bank,
naughty,
okay,
then
yeah.
we'll get 'em.
So redesigning nationwide multi-state licensing system, the common platform for state regulation. Define strategy, a one-stop platform spanning licensing through supervision. Determine system requirements, develop process with continuous user feedback, stakeholders, validation, adjustments. Okay, stakeholder, validation, and adjustments. Public commercial release. So these are the licensing for fintech companies, right? Licensing,
what are
right? These are the steps to.
Steps to get a license.
These are the steps to regulate fintech companies, right?
They're getting into regulation.
So these are external government, right? Government trying to understand the fintech. ODUWA Coin is a fintech, right? So as a fintech, we have our own steps. We are in the step of between stakeholder validation, adjustments, and public commercial release. As a company, that's where we're at. Some companies are already public in their release, like XRP. They're already doing business with banks. They partner up. There's liquidity. They do fees. They do microloans. So that's how they make money.
They're being used for
Already.
transactions of loans in banks.
Loans, money moving, I mean, anything and everything. I mean, anyways, back on track.
Yeah.
Licensing. So for a company like us, who is going to be 3 years old, we are in the survival phase, right? We're still trying to survive past this phase. Next step for us would be to expand, would be to partner with a bank.
Bank. Did they call that affiliation? Affiliate?
So our technology will be integrated into the bank fiat system because now we're backed. To answer your question, now we're backed by fiat.
So the first backing bank that's going to be the.
I'm not gonna say anything.
Okay.
I don't know.
But
that
that's like,
information.
but I'm not like name a bank, but wouldn't that be in the Africa area first?
Exactly, because that's our target market.
Yeah. It starts off there.
Yeah,
And then spreads to the world.
Yeah, hopefully, yeah. We'll go to Africa because there, for people.
Tell me about Africa. They got the kind of money problem, kind of different weird stuff.
Well, you know, I've seen these documentaries where people would pay a bus driver friend, like, here's my wad of cash that I earned this month. I worked very hard, and I'm giving 75% of my money to the family 500 miles away. Please take care of it, and please don't take it. And that's
They give it to a bus driver to trust the bus driver who's going over there. Please give this money.
No, but what I'm saying is I've seen stories. That's what they do.
Yeah, there's weird stuff.
All sorts of things just to get the money across the border, right?
Money
So
across the
now-
like sneak it.
Yeah. So can you imagine?
Because corruption, right? The border guys, whatever.
Oh, the banks. They'll just who knows?
Corruption everywhere, banks and everywhere.
And no more. The future. I see the future where we're going to be blockchain secure and efficient, right? And banks, one thing that banks lack is efficiency, right? Even security, like Wells Fargo, they lack security here. So if you could have efficiency and security, game over, right? Because now you're bringing those solutions to the emerging market, like Africa, right? Can you specifically Lagos, Nigeria, or Benin, or just sticking to that Western Africa, Cameroon. Bring a solution to the unbanked people who have no bank.
They can have smartphone, they can have laptop, and even Bitcoin is not down there. But I heard story like you get the Bitcoin, it's like
it's been down there since like 2016.
Yeah, but it takes like forever. It's like not able to be used as like.
There's no infrastructure there, not much infrastructure. But there's a lot of see that's the thing. Bitcoin is for the rich, right? There's infrastructure in the United States, Japan, Korea. Some of these big developed countries. UK very big for custodian.
Yeah,
Bitcoin. So, but Oduwa Coin, we know our niche market is Western Africa right now.
Tell me about African Decentralized Currency, A.D.C. Tell me about that.
Well, the concept with A.D.C. was just that, African Decentralized Currency, that was backed by fiat pairs with Ethiopia, Nigeria, Cameroon, South Africa.
So each individual country with each individual money, fiat money,
had a digital tether in that backed.
A digital tether to A.D.C.
To A.D.C. So, for example,
so it can be like one common blockchain type currency.
On blockchain, right? So A.D.C. was on the Ethereum platform. That's the technology, right? The blockchain that was seamlessly settled transaction. It was on Ethereum. So the problem we ran into is that Ethereum is volatile. It goes up and down. So if you kind of have African decentralized currency that's stable, it cannot be stable because it's on the Ethereum platform. Hence, we had to move off of A.D.C. And
so Oduwa is not doing A.D.C. no more.
No, that was a very, 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 very lengthy process, very expensive, but
what's going on behind the scenes at Oduwa?
Yeah,
because Oduwa is on its own native blockchain.
Correct. And
Ethereum is a different blockchain.
Yes.
Is Ethereum blockchain different from Bitcoin blockchain?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just making sure.
And 90+% of cryptocurrencies out there are on Ethereum platform.
Most.
Why would most be on the Ethereum platform? Well, it's because it's easy. They don't have to pay the service fee.
Everyone gets used to
they
it.
Don't have to get...
So the whole decentralized thing gets centralized again because everyone's doing Ethereum.
Right. So I'm not going to get into the philosophy.
But let's go back to Oduwa Coin.
Okay. Stablecoin, right? A.D.C. So what we decided to, I say we, is that I'm on the team and I ask questions. Okay. I have a little bit more access to the developers than most community folks do.
Sure.
And what they have decided to do, Oduwa, what they have decided to do was to move it to a stable coin, which is always one. So Oduwa USD, right? That's the market ticker, Oduwa USD. It's always backed by one currency unit of $1, right?
Okay.
So now it becomes a use case for merchants who are selling products to their customers, right? And that alleviates the volatility problem, right?
Why?
Why and how? Why?
Like, how does it do that?
How? Okay, that's a great question.
Because it's on the tether?
The reason Oduwa USD was created so merchants don't have to worry about their losing money the next day because of the volatility, right? So it was created for that reason. So how is that used? Well, let's say yourself, you have some ODUWA Coin, right? And let's see, we have a store right now, ODUWAmarketplace.com. So you go on ODUWAmarketplace.com and you buy some masks for 10 ODUWA Coin, right?
Okay.
As a user, you're happy, you got your product. But now imagine you are a merchant now. Now you're selling the masks, right? So here's $10, here's 10 ODUWA Coin worth $5, right? Give me my mask, I take the mask and give it to me, all right? And
can't have it back.
so you as a merchant, you're like, well, ODUWA is volatile right now. I don't care about the ODUWA Coin. I'm just using it as a utility. I just want an instant settlement. So instant pay, you got instant pay and settlement, no fees, right? So as a merchant, you're saving fees, right? And it's instant secure settlement. So you got that processor, you're happy, the technology is working. Now, you're like, okay, I got $5 in ODUWA Coin. Now you're like, so I got my settlement, I got fees taken care of, no fees, and it's instant settlement. Now I need to worry about volatility issue. So what you
Because a $5 might go down $2.
Exactly. So now you're like, well, I can convert it to Oduwa USD right here in my app. And that's what you do as a merchant. What merchants will do is they will convert it, they will settle the Oduwa Coin into Oduwa USD right there on the app.
Okay.
If they wish to. If they wish to, which most, I guarantee you.
Let's talk about Oduwa Pay in part 3.
Yeah.
Tell me about regulation.
Regulation of this.
So where are we at Oduwa Coin regulation?
Okay, yeah.
Can we use it in the USA?
Of course. You could use it anywhere.
Anywhere in the world.
So number one question comes up is, can I use it in USA? Well, of course, why not? That question is probably derived behind the intention was, oh, I gotta pay tax. You're going back to the tax implication, right? So I always tell people, any company who, we're just providing a service. Oduwa Coin is a service. We're a fintech company who uses utility coin, which is Oduwa, to settle all of its transactions on the blockchain, right? So the merchants, there's three parts to a company from the regulatory point, not technology, from how the regulators look at it is investors, 1, merchants, 2, actually that's it, just 2. So the regulators want to know that the merchants are, they are, and consumer, thank you. Merchants, consumer, and investors.
Okay, hold that thought. We got trick-or-treaters. We got part 3 coming up. So tune in. Hang loose.
Hang loose.
Aloha. Or hold this.
Trick-or-treaters? Oh, bro, time flies.